So tell me about brand building, like 101
Mhm.
to you. Like, what is brand building to someone who, as you, even a year ago, really had no notoriety to your name. People really didn't know you as this. And then we look at 12 months later, people not only know who you are, but you're on this magnificent show.
Well, so number one is to just be yourself and figure out a way to connect with people that shows that you're knowledgeable in what you do and that you are a human being and that you can. A lot of mine has been because I can laugh at myself and I make mistakes and I don't shy away from that. And so I think really honestly, it comes down to just being yourself and figuring out which platform it is. Where are your customers? Where do you feel comfortable posting whatever it is that you're going to post, all that content, and being consistent with it. And so I don't think I'm necessarily in everybody's space, um, but I do hear all the time that people say, I've seen this video that you posted, or that this was something that was very informative, and thank you very much for posting that. Or a lot of times I get like, oh, you are just a normal person and I feel like I could work with you because I see your true self. So I think that's just the first thing, is figuring out where you need to be, where's your audience, and then how can you make sure that they see who you are.
How did you decide that? Because I think at this point, most people that are saying that they see you is from LinkedIn. Is that fair? So how did you decide that that was the place that was the sandbox to play in?
Because first I saw that there weren't a ton of other commercial real estate brokers active on the platform, and especially in my market. And then I also saw that there were a lot of business owners, or potential business owners, a lot of entrepreneurs who were there who could maybe introduce me to other folks. So it looked like it was just my people who were there already. And it wasn't that I would have to manufacture an audience. I've tried to do some stuff on Instagram and Facebook, but it's just the audience isn't there for me. And the other part of it is, again, you have to enjoy being there. And if you don't enjoy it, then you're not going to show up every day and you won't be consistent. So I like that platform for myself.
I think that's really interesting. And what I really took out of that too is you recognize that your, I hate this word, competitor isn't really playing in that space.
Mm-hmm.
So that was an opportunity or an avenue for you to capitalize on. But then also the people that you are trying to have see you do play there and are very active. And so it's really interesting that you were able to articulate and be curious enough to find those people in there, even though they're very, it's just very interesting that you were able to articulate that. As you were just saying, you're transparent. You sometimes you can't figure out what to say, and I just couldn't figure out what to say. So I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna end of the sentence. Who needs a comma anyway?
Yeah, that stuff is really interesting, and you're playing that to your advantage, Nicole, which is really awesome. I mean, if you look at like some of the challenges that these A-list celebrities face right now in terms of like with Instagram and Twitter or Facebook or whatever, that their fans feel like they have a relationship with them because they're posting so much. Well, you're doing that from the business sense that even though you may not have met someone that is looking for office space, you showing your vulnerable side, you're establishing that relationship with someone, and you haven't even met that person yet. So then when you do meet that person, they feel comfortable with you. And so that's awesome. Well done.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's definitely not an overnight thing, and it's something that's trial and error. And right now, I don't know that I've posted for the past 3 or 4 days, because I've just been in a point where I didn't feel like I had relevant content to post. And so that's the other struggle too, is that making sure that when you do put stuff out there, that it's relevant or informational, or, just something that it's not going to be a bunch of junk. So I definitely go through those moments. So I don't want people to think that I'm a machine and that I just constantly crank out content, because that doesn't happen. And I also don't have somebody creating the content for me, which I think you can tell sometimes when people pay someone else to do that, because then when you do meet them, you're like, wait a second, this is not how you come across when I've seen you before, or the other types of things that you post. So
yeah, can you imagine if I started posting like stuff and then I showed up in a suit? That's basically what you're saying.
Right. Exactly.
So like an interesting story about that, like a true story, is when I started doing my TV show a few years ago, which I guess I don't do anymore. But so in 2015-ish, I guess, is when I did that. I was literally in the meeting with the TV station, and I'm in jeans and a t-shirt. And I literally said, and by the way, it took about 2 months to even convince the TV station to think that I was even remotely capable of doing this. And obviously I was. That's why it was wonderful, given the position. But literally during it, then I was like, I'm also not going to wear a suit, because I'm not going to just change my ways, change my brand because I got this new opportunity. I felt that that was really, really important for me, that the brand that I built before, I was going to have continuity with that. And I think a lot of people will say, oh, well, Zach, you're the only person on TV that didn't have a suit. That's unprofessional. It's this. It's like, well, hold on. Have you even peeled back an onion a little bit to realize that for the last 10 years, I've been building this brand off of who I am, and I have a ton of track record to show that? Why don't you be curious and investigate on some of that stuff? So I appreciate and respect the fact that you do that from that perspective, because I think a lot of people won't be transparent. They'll try to be very fake. And even if they do, quote unquote, make it, it's just not the same.
Right.